All right, greetings and welcome. Thanks for joining us for the very first inaugural live stream chat with the Combat Night crew. I am your host, as usual, Ramsey White, COO of Combat Night, and I will be joined tonight by our CEO, Mitchell Chamali, and our Director of Talent Relations, Richard Cox. What is up, guys?
Hello.
How's everyone doing?
We're in the house. As we do, what we plan to do tonight is a breakdown of our event we have this weekend, Combat Night Orlando, which will be hosted at the Beecham, downtown Orlando. Doors open at 4. Fights will start around 4:30. And if you can't make it there, we're going to have you join us on our live stream pay-per-view, which you can find at www.combatnight.com. We will also be joined this evening by Coach Ben Stark, who joins me in the commentary booth quite regularly. So we look forward to talking to him as well. All right, guys. Quick shout out to our sponsors for the event, JCM Roofing, Digital Kings, and Advanticare. We appreciate all of our sponsors, and we're glad that they do what they do so we can do what we do. All right, gentlemen. We got a great card tomorrow, do we not?
Indeed, I'm very excited to get back to work. It's been 6 long weeks of no Combat Night.
Yeah, 6 long weeks, and we have a full month ahead. Coming up, we've got this event tomorrow, then we've got Fort Lauderdale next week, and then wrapping up the month with the pro show in Jacksonville. But to the business at hand tomorrow. So let's get right to it and just talk about some of the fights that we have tomorrow that we're looking forward to. And one of those is a lightweight matchup between Kyle Day and Casey Berry. What kind of thoughts do you guys have on that matchup?
Both guys kind of have the same amount of experience. They're both about the same level of jiu-jitsu. Ironically, they have trained together, and they both say it's going to be a hell of a scrap, and I agree with them.
I kind of disagree with Richard a little bit. I think that the jiu-jitsu weighs in Casey's favor. I've trained with him, off and on over the years. I've never had the honor of training with Kyle Day, but I know Kyle Day brings it. And I think that's where Kyle Day's advantage really comes in at, is that he's a guy that comes forward right away. He's putting pressure on his opponents. And, Casey's had some problems dealing with pressure in the past. So I think it's going to be a really interesting matchup, kind of a clash of styles, if you will.
Yeah, so something I'll add to that, Casey Berry, a Combat Night OG, fought for us 13 times over the years, always brings the heat. Both of these guys are going to be looking for a much sought after win, and I think they'll bring some exciting action. Let's bring Coach Ben in and have
What's
him.
going on, everybody?
What's up, Coach?
How y'all doing?
What do you think about this matchup between Kyle Day and Casey Berry?
Now, I've luckily cornered against Kyle Day. He is extremely aggressive in the start. He's looking to utilize the brown belt that he has, and he is very, very dangerous. For the first round and a half, he does start to wear, but it's because he puts so much weight on the pedal in that first round, looking for that hard finish. Maybe he's gained a little more experience in this time, and he's realized to pace himself, but he is ferociously dangerous in that first round. So, if Casey can get past that, he's shown that he should be able to overcome, but it's a hard first round to get through.
All right.
Agreed.
So let's move on to the next bout we want to talk about, which is another lightweight matchup. We're going to go ahead and talk about Eric Jones and John Tannahill.
Giovanni.
Man, Tannahill is a bad dude.
He is that guy. Both of those guys are really tough. If you don't mind me weighing in first. This is probably one of the more intriguing matchups on the card for me. Little known fact here in the area, their teams and their camps are actually rivals of one another. They've had plenty to say in the build-up, and thankfully they both keep it respectful when it comes to fight time. But they definitely have not been shying away from, they don't like each other. Not necessarily the fighters themselves, but the camps. The fighters themselves are both really respectful, awesome dudes. I like both of them. I think they both have ways to win. If you ask me, they both fought for us before, and it's kind of the same situation as we were talking about with Casey and Kyle is, Giovanni will come and put the pressure on. He will get in Eric's face early, and he's going to stay there the whole fight. break him. And Eric, seeing him have that kind of pressure, his debut with us, got pushed hard, and he managed in the third round back harder and he ended up scoring a fantastic knockout. So I'm really interested to see how this fight goes. I think it's gonna, I think it's gonna end in the finish, to be honest with you. But I don't think that happens until the third round.
What you got, Rich?
I like Eric in this fight. If he stays aggressive and gets combinations going and gets in some exchanges, I like his chances. If it's a technical fight, I kind of favor Gene. I think he's technically superior. He's gonna like a pretty technical fight, whereas Eric's chances to get it done are extremely higher if he's aggressive and letting combinations go.
Coach Ben?
Man, I don't think I've seen Jones fight before, but I have seen Tannahill fight, and as well as his teammates. Those guys are extremely aggressive and extremely proficient in their jiu-jitsu. I was actually looking him up a little earlier today, and I found him on his gym's Instagram. He's still a white belt. If you saw his last fight and the level of grappling that he displayed, I'm stunned. Tannahill is a very dangerous fighter on the ground. His striking a little rough and ready, but it's aggressive and he's willing to throw it. But the second he locks his hands and gets that takedown, he can move, man. His control's fantastic. He takes advantage of small spaces to throw big shots in the ground and pound that will help him keep his position, and his recovery is excellent. In his last fight, he looked fantastic, chasing the back, catching it, attacking from it, and maintaining his top position. I'm excited to see what he's bringing to the table this time.
All right. I just want to take a moment to encourage everybody that's watching at home to, if you got any questions or comments, I'm monitoring that. So go ahead and shoot them through the comments. And also, if you're not, hit that subscribe button, like this video, and also check us out on Instagram and Facebook at Combat Night MMA. So we're going to keep.
Real quick, I can't believe that Tannehill is a white belt.
Yeah.
I just knowing that the way he puts that pressure on, the way he grapples, Wanderley's camp is definitely not giving out belts because that kid, in my eyes, he's a blue belt. At least he's just pressure, and technical. So that's surprising.
Agreed.
All right. Our co-main event of the evening is a featherweight matchup between Kyle Blair and Eddie Perlaza. Who wants to go first?
Go take the rule.
Man, Eddie's an OG as well. He's probably had a dozen fights with us. Very well-rounded, exciting striker. He showed in a lot of fights where he was kind of losing. He's got good skills off his back. Kyle Blair, I got to be honest, he's kind of a mystery. I mean, I remember him from years ago, but what has that guy been doing? What's he been doing? Out of the blue, kind of had his name thrown at me, and he looks like he's in incredible shape, and he had a little swagger and some confidence in his eyes today. I think that one is probably going to steal the show.
Yeah, I would have to agree with it. Still in the show. One of my favorite parts about the weigh-ins and the face-offs is that I get to be right there in between two guys when they're making that stare down, and the eyes don't lie. Or the eyes never lie, Chico. They are, both of these guys were intense, staring at each other. Kyle was trying to get in his head. Eddie didn't flinch. And like Rich said, Eddie is an OG. He's got a ton of fights with us. Kyle has been MIA for a little bit, but it doesn't look like he was not training. He looked the best I've ever seen him. He looks shredded. If I had to guess, this is another potential for fight of the night. And it's interesting to me because Eddie is the only person that I've seen decisively beat the guy in our main event. He is the only guy that has been able to do that. And Ben is a savage, and he breaks everybody's will, and he's just relentless. So I've watched Eddie kind of grow up in our cage, and I'm excited to see him take on this challenge, and I'm excited to see what Kyle Blair brings to the table.
Any thoughts, Ben?
Man, Kyle Blair is a mystery. He's been out of competition since 2021, but that doesn't mean he's not training. Sometimes, especially as an amateur, it's smart to take a little time off. I don't know about 3 years, but COVID happens and things change for people. But to be able to take that time and dedicate it to your craft, working on your art and being to reinvent yourself and come back as a whole new fighter is a big possibility. When you see the pictures of him or you see his presence online, He doesn't look out of shape. He doesn't look like he's not keeping busy. So for all we know, we're going to see, version 2.0 coming at us tomorrow. In terms of Eddie, Eddie is long, he's strong, he's built, and he's good on the ground, he's good on his feet. When he fought Ben, especially in that third round when he finally opened up, man, his strikes were devastating. To take advantage of a guy that presents so much pressure, like our main event fighter Ben Aris, to be able to stop him in his tracks a little bit, knock his head back, and take advantage is super impressive. So we got two guys with a long background. They're veterans of the game at this point. To see them clash on the upper end of the card is going to be exciting.
I was really hoping you were going to say he was down to get the friction on. Not going to lie. I'm a little disappointed.
I apologize. I'll work on it.
All right. And our main event, the featherweight title between Bashmir Winston and Ben Aris. Who wants the lead?
Dude, man, I try to be so unbiased, but there is so much to like about Ben. He's like the common man kind of vibe, blue collar guy, but he's also like got charisma, it factor, and all that backed up with like he's a grinder. He really puts it in. He's looking to break people. A lot of fights, he's won some fights, you wouldn't think he was going to win the fights on paper looking at it. And like Mitch was saying earlier, he just breaks people. He just stays on it. Like that kid's a real likable kid. There's a lot to like there. Well-rounded, good jiu-jitsu, good takedowns. I mean, he's like a jack of all trades, really, really, really high level for amateur.
And
Bashmir is, I mean, you can never count that guy out. He's bingoed some tough guys. And both of these guys the best part about this is like both of these guys were here and didn't, stayed here first 2-3 fights and then boom, boom, boom. So that's what's exciting about it. Bashmir is exciting, very athletic, very strong. Really looking forward to this one. Fun fight.
I was just going to say that Ben's on a 3-fight win streak. And I know Bashmir has been a little bit streaky. He's gone on some tears where he's strung some wins together and then also hit some skids. And so I know he's going to be bringing the heat, looking to get another dub. And Ben Aris is just so consistent and just a monster in there. What'd you think?
I feel the same way about Ben and Bashmir. I think they're both these guys. They never say no to a fight. They are always up for a challenge. They both started off fairly rough in their career. And I watched guys take them on thinking they were an easy fight. Oh yeah, I'll fight the 1-3 guy. And then they get washed. And guys that were like undefeated or 2-0, 1-0, like guys that had promising and that were, prospects being talked about on the amateur scene. So I'm real excited to see these two face each other. I've seen Ben get cracks for sure, but not by anyone that has the knockout power that Bashmir has.
Yeah,
so
great point.
That could be a whole game changer in the fight if Bashmir hits him and cracks him early. But like I said, I've never seen Ben shy away, even when he gets cracked. Eddie Perlaza cracked him, and man, he just kept coming. There was relentless the whole fight. Both these guys have a similar opponent on their records. Aris took a split decision loss to them, and Bashmir got him out early. He got a big knockout. It was a big deal. Like I don't think anyone saw it coming. So I think both of these guys, I can't wait to see the fight. I'm really excited about it because I like both of them. They've both grown on me a lot over the years, and I've watched them grow up again inside the Combatagon, and I just can't wait to see them go after that belt.
Fun fight.
This is going to be a crazy one. So I'm quite familiar with both of these guys. Bashmir is the bigger man here, which is crazy considering he has fought as low as 135. Right now, these guys are fighting at 155. So Bashmir's on a touch of a skid, but these were all in title fights against really high-end guys. Ben is just stepping his feet into that title fight level, right? Ben is an absolute dog. He never steps backwards. He never circles out. He just gets in your face. Now, Ben has had difficulty with bigger guys with more power in the past, but Ben's biggest strength, being his jiu-jitsu, is where Bashmir tends to be the weakest. Now, it's hard as hell to get Bashmir down, But if you can get him down, that's where you're going to find the most luck. So are we going to see the size and knockout power of Bashmir take over? Or is Ben going to be able to wear the storm, close the distance, and get Bashmir down to the ground where he can take advantage of his jiu-jitsu? Now, I would say don't be surprised to watch Ben jump on some guillotines. Him and Dustin Poirier jump the gilly. If he's pressed on the fence and he can get Bashmir's posture down, he is going to jump that guillotine. Mark my words.
You know, another thing I'll say about Bashmir is he's one of those guys that has just traveled all up and down the state, competed all over the place, and just really maximized his amateur experience. So he brings, you know, just kind of that versatility of it's not a big deal whether he's fighting in Orlando or up north or down south. Like, he does his thing everywhere. So that experience is another thing to take into consideration.
Man, those Treasure Coast Cartel guys have no problem saying yes. They like to fight. They want to fight. And if you give them an opportunity, they will take advantage of it. Those kids are all super tough.
Faux show.
If nobody has any other comments on that, or if there's any other fighters you want to highlight, if not, I'm going to go to the comments. There's a couple of questions. Bashmir chimed in on the comments that 18 fights in 3 years.
That's
Boy,
impressive.
active.
That's
Super
What a
activity.
dog.
Yes.
This is kind of a question for the director of talent relations. Who's the oldest fighter on this card?
Oldest fighter on this card, man. You know, like, I don't know. I'm kind of old school. You're not supposed to. You're not supposed to talk about ladies' ages, but I'm gonna say it's a good chance it's a lady.
Okay.
Who
Don't we have a
stepped
guy
up
on this card
very
who's
short
46?
24 hours notice she might have stepped up on, but
What?
you know, you don't talk about. But yes.
Was there any other short notice pickups?
Yes.
Yeah.
Pete and Brent can't agree to fight each other on short notice. And then Miriam and Kata Rocha.
Yeah, both locked down yesterday. The girls had a couple days notice. It was just getting some things in order with medicals and scheduling work and stuff like that. But Pete and Brent, I mean, this was less than 24 hours ago this happened. So
That's going to be a firefight.
guys
too.
made weight, showed up.
I guess you guys can see the comments there. There's a
I'm blind,
I'm
buddy.
blind, bro.
okay. There's a
Exactly.
oil Mitch up comment in there.
Bring it. Bring that Diddy sauce over here.
Also,
Hey.
Rise of Warriors asking, well, what's up with the sweaters and the hats? Greetings from France.
Man, these sweaters are dope. They're all embroidered, done up really nice. We made them originally for just our signed athletes last year, and this will be the first event that we're going to be selling these sweaters at. I've been hounded by so many people asking me, where can I buy one? I kept telling them, sorry, you can't buy it. You can't buy it. I wanted to give that exclusivity to our athletes and our team for a year. Now that we've had that exclusivity for a year, it's time to open up and find something new to give to our athletes that's exclusive to them. And then the sweaters will be on sale at the event.
Very cool. I was just excited about kicking off this, kind of first live stream. It's something that we've been talking about for probably 5 years, at least 5-6 years, something like that. And, getting settled into Combat Night HQ here in Orlando and getting our ducks in a row and kind of, taking that leap and breaking the seal. I was super excited about doing this and look forward to doing quite a bit more of this with you guys in the future. Any closing thoughts or statements?
I want to talk about a couple more fights.
Yeah.
Me too.
For me, the craziest fight on this card is probably Vic Harpal versus Sebastian Montevaro. Vic has he's been a sponsor of ours off and on, and he sponsored a ton of athletes, guys in the UFC like Ramon Tavares, Phil Rowe he's worked with, and he's guys that are on the cusp of getting there like Angel Mercado. And he's a good businessman, and he wanted to prove a point that he could take a fight and go through the fight camp and do all the things. And he's a true professional. He's got all his blood work in. He's done everything the right way. And then the guy he's fighting is a debuter who's actually coming up a weight class to take this fight out of the jungle. And Sebastian, he's a young kid fighting an older dude. That Vic's not very old, but he's just he's got man muscles already. And it's definitely a challenge for him. I know he sees who Vic's kicking it around with all the time and training with. it's just it's for both of these guys. I think it's a really cool fight to see, and I'm excited to see them get in there and throw down. And you know, I think yeah, so it's going to be a dope experience for both of them. I like it.
Hell yeah. If I could, sorry.
Yeah, go for it.
I wanted to highlight Keith Forbes for a second. If you were at Keith's last fight, which I believe was at the Beecham as well, this kid has grown so much. I know Keith from back in the day. He had fought one of my guys a couple years back, and he started out as just like a strong athlete. He had a big right hand, but he was ferociously athletic, and he has grown so much in the last 2 to 3 years. His striking looks fantastic. If you guys are on the Combat Night MMA social media, you saw a clip from his last fight posted up earlier today. Hits a really clean combination, puts his opponent down, follows up really nice. His striking has gotten immensely better. His grappling in his last fight looked much better. I'm stoked to see what such an athletic kid that now has a lot more guidance and a lot more a coaching direction is going to blossom into.
Yeah, that's a great fight too.
Yeah.
Brock's a dog. Keith's a dog.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the Bashmir Ben fight, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Both of these guys are nonstop pressure. Both of these guys kind of started a little rough. Maybe they got put in some fights they shouldn't have been in a little early. And they've both gotten a ton of improvements, and they've got that no-quit attitude. My favorite thing, man, Keith is like, he's got a big personality. I really do. I like his personality. He's always wearing his white belt very proudly. And I think it's got 4 stripes now. I've watched.
I was going to say that he had 2 or 3 more stripes on it than he had.
I've watched the stripes get added to it, and I'm excited for that fight. You know, I'm real excited. A lot of these fights, even though there's a lot of debuters, there's about half the card are guys that have fought with us in the past, and even all the debuters, they come from camps that work with us often, so we know what kind of game they're bringing, and we know they're going to. A lot of these guys are going to step in the middle of the cage and they're going to throw down.
With Combat Night, they always do. These kids know the stage they're on. Combat Night has put so many people on to successful careers and notoriety. They know that when they get in the Combatagon, it's time to put up or shut up. You know, one step in the right direction could be massive for them. Even as amateurs, you know, Combat Night gets massive social media views. The YouTubes are crazy big. Anything that you do on a Combat Night show is going to get seen, either for the best or for the worst, and it can really make a big splash for you as time goes on.
All right, there's another good question here from White Rice MMA. He says, who's y'all's pick for fight of the night?
I'll let you go first.
I mean, we said it earlier. I'm going to stick with Kyle and Eddie. I think they're going to steal it, but then it might get stolen back right when Bashmir and Ben go at it. So, but I'm gonna stick with Eddie and Kyle.
I'm gonna be that guy, and I'm gonna say I'm gonna pick one for kickboxing, since we have some kickboxing fights and we have some for MMA fights. In the kickboxing fight, I really feel like these 2 ladies are going to get in there and throw down.
Yeah.
The fact that they were both just staying ready for a fight and they could take this fight on such short notice. They were all smiles today at the face-offs, but that's pretty telling to me. They're ready. They're ready to get in there and lock it up and throw down. And then for the fight of the night, I think I gotta agree with Richard. I think it's gonna be Kyle Blair and Eddie Perlaza. If Brock Waldy and Keith Forbes don't steal the show, but you know, as the night goes on, the fights always. Yeah, or I mean, there's so many good fights, but
those 5 are tough.
I'm gonna stick with Kyle Blair and Eddie Perlaza as well.
Man, I gotta go with Bashmir and Ben. Most likely for finish of the night. I don't think it's gonna go to a decision. Someone's getting finished. So probably fight of the night, most likely finish of the night. But if I had to pick a close second, I'm going with Keith Forbes and Brock Waldy. That one's, man, both of those are just going to be fireworks start to finish.
I'll throw my hat in the ring for the Bashmir and Ben Aris fight as well for fight of the night.
I like it.
Here's another good one.
This is fun.
We can't read it.
Yeah, you gotta tell us. This is interesting.
Trump or Harris?
White Rice MMA is asking Trump or Harris.
I mean, we got to know the answer to this, guys. It's Harris, no doubt, right?
I'm gonna trust the American people's good judgment on that.
Yeah, Putin endorsed her. I mean, it's got to be Harris.
Ben, you got an answer for us?
I always vote independent.
So RFK, there we go.
I'm Trump all the way.
What a man's man.
All right, now we're getting trolled by Rise of Warrior. I'm not doing that one.
Hey, Dan.
That's a standard question.
Dan
That's
E.
the way it is.
Or double D.
I can't even read it. I wish I could read it.
The
Yes,
gay son
torture
thought
rings.
daughter
There's like
question.
a lot of questions up there. Or comments.
Yeah, there's a lot of comments.
Does pineapple go on pizza, guys? Let's get down to brass tacks.
No.
Yeah,
Everything goes on pizza.
Another little factoid came through. He said, "Did y'all know Brock Waldy lost over 130 pounds from when he was in college?"
I can't
makes
say
me
that I
like
knew
fun.
that. That's amazing.
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's always I feel like when guys lose that kind of weight, they got extra power. They got a little more get up in their ass. And they
They're
really can,
strong.
It changes you. It's a big mindset thing. Massive. That's grit. Losing that kind of weight's really, really, really hard.
Shout out to Brock for that. That's an amazing accomplishment.
All right. Have we touched on all the fights you guys want to talk about?
yeah, I'm pretty happy. You know, after this one, we got October 12th in Fort Lauderdale. It's going to be a great card. We got right now we got like 19 fights. I'm hoping that I don't want to lose any fights, but it's gonna have to happen, right? You just hope you don't lose the bangers, the main events, the title fights, the women.
Yeah.
And then we go to Jacksonville on October 26th, and I'm excited to have back our man Matt Grafer in the ring. He's going to be taking a break from Savannah Bananas. The season is over, so I'm happy to have him back with us. It's been a minute. It's always awesome to see guys that started with us in some way or another, whether it's a fighter, a commentator, an announcer, and seeing them, you know, their career get elevated like that. It's really dope.
It's been really cool to see the platform kind of perform in that way. It's not just been a springboard for, you know, amateurs to pros and then pros to the big leagues, but we've also seen, you know, some of our officials and stuff develop their careers and make it to the next level of that. So, and also like with Grafer, you know, he
Grafer's
has
the GOAT, bro.
he is like he's been
Grafer's
inspiring to watch
CN
over the years. You know, you go from calling quiz shows in you know, bars to 10 people to I think he did like it was like 85,000 people or something in Philadelphia the other night. That's incredible. Really happy for him.
That's awesome.
Love to see it.
You have any other thoughts, comments, or remarks there, Ben?
Are we talking just about Orlando, or are we getting into Broward?
Just in general.
Yeah, just in general.
I'm just excited to be going up to Orlando to hang out with you guys. Being as one of the only guys in the gang that's down south, it's so lonely. So to spend some time with the Combat Night family, it just warms my heart, and I look forward to it greatly.
Hey, well, thanks for joining us here this evening. It's good to see you, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Bye, everyone.
See you, Ben.
All right. And
now that Ben's gone, we can actually just kidding, Ben.
Let's start shit talking.
well, for us, this is wrapping up. It's been a long day for us, but we look forward to another one tomorrow. We hope to see you guys all at the Beecham tomorrow. And if we don't, we hope you catch our pay-per-view live stream available at www.combatnight.com. Make sure you're following us on all of our socials, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook at Combat Night MMA. And so for all of us here at Combat Night HQ, we'll see you tomorrow.
Yes, sir.